Hey, it's Bill Gross, the LAProbate and I am really excited to talk today to really one of my mentors, Czech Corporate Probate Mastery, introduced me to Gary Nash, who is a fantastic real estate investor and kind of project designer and uh, does a number of things, has a very unique perspective on it. Also has an opportunity for people interested in learning with him, the Genius Investing Academy. So Gary, welcome to our call today.
Hey, thanks a lot, Bill. Appreciate that.
Give me a little background on you. Where did you grow up and how'd you get into real estate in the first place?
Well, I grew up just outside of Washington, D.C., and I moved to Virginia when I was about 25. And my dad had a masonry company, so I'm actually a bricklayer by trade, believe that or not.
Wow.
And by the time I was 27, I mean, I was a bricklayer when I was 19, and I was making like, I don't know, $17 an hour as a mason. Of course, I'm 65 now, so that was back in, golly, 77, 76.
It was good money back then.
Yeah, and that was when rent was you can get a two-bedroom apartment just outside of DC for $400. You get gas was about 70 cents a gallon. Uh, Milk was 60 cents a gallon. It was just the quality of life back then was really nice. Health
Hmm.
insurance was $400 a month.
Hmm.
It was a completely different life of than it is today. Today, that same mason makes about maybe $20 an hour, and rent for a two-bedroom is $900 a month, and gas is $3 a gallon, and so it's much harder to make it. And so as I was growing up, and I was in this bricklaying world, running work, working with my dad, and I just thought to myself, my back hurt all the time, working out in the trenches. There's got to be a better way to make a living. Oh my God,
Right.
you get sick, uh, you, you're not going to make any money. So I moved on, and I actually, there was a class called Robert Allen's
Mm-hmm.
How to Obtain Financial Freedom Through No
Mm-hmm.
Money Down. I
Uh-huh.
think he was one of the first real estate, kind
Yep.
of gurus back in the
Yep.
70s.
Yep.
And so I took his course. I spent $500, and I got my first taste of negativity. Everybody that I told that I spent $500 for this course, before the course started, of course, was they were so negative. My dad, he was so mad at me. And I was engaged at the time, and my wife to be thought I was nuts. She thought, oh my God. And then I think it was about 18 months later, I was making more off of my real estate than my dad was paying me as a mason.
Wow.
And I thought, wait a minute, what's wrong with this picture?
Wow.
So that's how I got started into it.
Wow. Wow. Yeah,
And
he used to be late night TV infomercials on No Money Down, and Robert Allen. He was one of the originals and spawned a whole industry. So move forward from there. You went from bricklayer to investor while you're a bricklayer to full-time investor. What do you do? What's your business
well, I
now?
was actually I was doing it part time, and I actually had at the time about 14 doors, and the so I was doing that, and then I kind of had a falling out with my dad, and I had an opportunity to go to work for a construction company because I had been taking construction management, architectural courses, and drafting. Um, not engineering courses. So I was basically taking a construction technologies, which included methods, materials, architectural drafting, engineering, to broaden. I like the building industry.
Mm.
And then I landed a job as a project manager, and I left my dad, and I worked under the wing of the owner of the company, and subsequently ended up marrying his daughter.
Mm.
And so I got some real training, and I was, a part of them growing that company from at the time a $60 million a year company. They are now a $2 billion a year construction company.
Wow.
So he really taught me the construction business. In fact, to this day, they're one of the largest general contractors in the country. And so that experience that I got from him was just really immeasurable. And it
So that's,
really taught me how to identify, communicate, and make money off of contractors.
so it's fair to say then the focus of your real estate investing activity centers on adding value with some sort of construction piece.
That's right. Well,
Oh,
the adding value portion of it is what I learned after I worked with my father-in-law for several years. I worked with him for 4 years, and then I struck out on my own as a residential design build home remodeling contractor. And I did that for about 20 years just outside of DC. And I really got, I've probably renovated over 1,000 homes
oh wow.
through my years. And, there's only so many different ways you can slice a piece of bread. So for lack of a better term, so I just got really good at, looking at these houses and talking to the owners, figuring out what they wanted, and then coming up with a house that really became their home
Right.
and something that, they really liked. And I had all kinds of accolades. I won 35 Contractor of the Year awards during my tenure. I was voted as one of the top 50 contractors in the country by Remodeling Magazine. So in the construction arena, I was really pretty much a big dog. I had 50 employees. We did almost 10 million a year.
Wow.
And the reason that I got out of that was I got terminally ill.
Oh, whoa. Whoa,
And
whoa, whoa, whoa. How long ago was that?
that was in 2012.
Well, terminally ill, and here it is 2022. So
Well, got cured.
thank God.
So without kind of going into all that, really what ended up happening is I closed my construction company,
Wow.
sold everything, moved to Richmond, Virginia to die.
Wow.
Then about 6 months later, Johns Hopkins called me up, said they had a new drug that was coming out. They thought it was going to be my cure. And in 2014, of October of 14, I was cured.
Wow.
And so I got a second lease on life. I didn't want to go back into the construction industry per se. I didn't want to be a general contractor again because, I just didn't, I was burnout, really. And, so I met this guy and he was a Homevestor franchisee.
Hmm.
And so I had bought a Homevestor franchise and I moved down to Virginia Beach because I wanted that territory because it's very transit and I didn't see, a whole lot of competition. Richmond was saturated with franchisees and the population down here was similar to Richmond, but there was half as many, franchisees per se. So I came down here and I had been real estate investing. Like I said, I had 14 doors. I developed some land. I created like a subdivision. I developed this other land and built a storage facility. And so working as a subcontractor, as a general contractor, as a developer, I've I've got hands-on experience of all three sides of the fence is what I like to kind of say. So I know how to communicate with subs. I know what their motive is. I know how to communicate with a general contractor. I know what their motive is. And I also know how to negotiate larger land deals for development purposes. And so that experience, when I stepped into this real estate investing full-time
Hmm.
world, I just crushed it because I was, what was really kind of funny is that at Home Investors, they take you and they want you to, become, uh, this investor, and they want you to do it their way. And I flipped my first house. I didn't wholesale it. I bought it and renovated it, and I followed their program. And it was just like a buy, and what they want you to do is you just buy it, and then you exchange all the fixtures and you spruce it up. And I got to tell you, I've done some amazing things to houses before, and this was really cutting against my grain. And I thought, well, golly, and I made a little bit of money, like 15,000 bucks. It was only a 60-day renovation at the most. And in fact, I don't even think it was that much. It's probably about 45. But then after that, I thought, I can't do it this way. This is dumb. I think I can make more money. So then I started looking at the houses differently. So I bought a house, and I went upstairs, and it was kind of not really a loft. It had a stairway that went upstairs, and there was this huge room with this air handler, heating and cooling unit, the indoor portion was just laying right there in the middle of this huge room. And I thought, well, this is really stupid. I can take that unit and I'll shove it over, down at the lower portion, reroute the duct, and I was able to create a bedroom with like a little sitting area. And I turned that house that had, it was about, I don't know, 150,000. I jacked the value up because I created a whole nother bedroom, and it added probably, I don't know, $50,000 worth of value to it. And I thought, yeah, okay, so I'm on to something. And so then I really started analyzing every time I'd look at a house, how could I make it, how could I get more profit out of it? And the way that you would get more profit out of it would be to add a bedroom or a bathroom. And if it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and it's around 900 square feet, I can convert that fairly easily and confidently, almost any house, into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And this house, I was telling you earlier before the recording that I fell in a hole that was on the job site. That house is 964 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And I went out there and I converted that house into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The ARV was $149,000 as it sat. So if I swapped everything out and put everything back in just like it was, 149,000. It needed everything. It needed heating, cooling, electric, roof, windows, all the interior. The place smelled like, really, really bad. And so it was going to cost me $45,000 anyway. So I said, okay, well, let's see what the values of houses in this area are as a 3-2. The values were like 220 to 250.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, I'm spending $45,000 anyway. So I came up with this drawing. Now I went through several, different ideas. One of the ideas was to take the roof off and just double the size of the house. But the amount of cost and the duration didn't justify, the new ARV.
Right.
I would make just as much profit if I just converted the interior. And, I have this, kind of thing that I do is I call it creating more space within the space. And you can do that by just altering the layout. Sometimes I'll do like a little cantilever. Mm-hmm. And here's a hot tip for your listeners. Cantilevering is really a gold mine, because you can add so much drama and create that extra little space that you need that will, change the whole kind of value of the property. And the
Sure.
beauty of a cantilever is that you don't have to, like, you can encroach the setbacks. You can't go beyond the property line, but if your house sits on the setback line, you can cantilever. And as long as it's not touching the ground, you don't have to get a zoning permit for that.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
that adds, and so like one of these houses that I had, it was really small, and the property line was 3 feet away. I did a 2-foot cantilever out because I wanted to create this master suite. Again, this was a really, I called it a 2.5 bedroom, 1 bath. And I created a 3 bedroom, 2 bath on this house. But the master suite, the house is so narrow, I needed that extra room for a closet because I had to take the closets out to give the room, kind of a today feel. It was too small with that closet there.
Right.
And then I just cantilevered out an area for a huge closet, about 8 feet. So I had these bypass doors. So you had a nice 8-foot closet that I just cantilevered out. And that made that master suite sweet.
Nice. Nice.
So, and that just, once again, that took that value of that property over at the time. That was a couple of years ago. I think it was like, again, 150, and I ended up selling that place for, I think it was just over 200,000 at the
Wow.
time.
So you have a wealth of knowledge. You flipped, it sounds like, or bought and sold. But I think you said thousands of homes, hundreds for sure. That's not thousands. You now have what's called the Genius Investment Academy. What's that about? What's your purpose there, and what's the opportunity for people to participate?
Well, it's kind of the funny things. When you own a business, you're kind of stuck in a vacuum, and because you're doing your thing, and your business, and you're going out, and you're doing these things, and you're doing what is working for you, and hopefully you're analyzing whatever it is that you're doing, and you're seeing where you're making money, and you're dropping the things that you're not making money off of, and you try to constantly evolve and perfect. So that's what I was doing. And so I would go to these RIA group meetings because that's what you do as an investor. You communicate because you want to build your buyers list, and hopefully pick up some some other leads, from some possible wholesale guys. Although I've never done that. And so we would talk, and I would ask these guys, well, geez, well, how much money do you make on your flips? And they would say, I make, between $5,000 and $20,000. And they'd say, well, how much do you make? And I was like, 80 to 120. And they're like, God, how are you doing that? And I was like, well, I just kind of go in and, kind of change things around a little bit. And so it started getting a little interest there. And my lender was doing an interview, and he wanted me to be a part of it. Somebody was interviewing him, and they wanted to do it on a job site. So he came out to my job site, and he had just lent me the money. He hadn't seen the plans that I created and what I was going to do to it. And after the interview, he said, Gary said, oh my God, you have got to get this stuff out. If half of my investors knew 10% of what you know,
Right.
I'd feel so much more comfortable lending to them. So I went.
Wow. Wow. That's a strong statement.
Yeah. So I thought, well, golly, maybe, I wasn't thinking that way. So I went to this RIA group in Richmond, and I made a presentation, and I shared that, and I've actually written a book. It's called let's see, How to Find the Right Contractor and Save 30% on your next remodel.
Wow.
And when I got sick, I wrote that book, and I thought that, you know what, I'd make some money off of that. And you can actually buy that on, what is it? It's a Kindle book, or you can get the hard copy. So anyway, so I, basically told people that, this is what I do. I showed them a project and I showed them a drawing. I had a little presentation up on one of those screens. And there was 50 people that were at the meeting. 30 of them waited for 45 minutes to talk to me after. So I
Wow.
thought, wow, there's proof of the pudding.
Sure.
So then I thought, well, okay, I'm going to put a webinar together. So I thought I'd just go around to these different RIA groups and do my 30. Yep, there you go. I would do my, I would just offer to teach the class, and then COVID hit. And it
Right.
really kind of took the wind out of my sails. And I was talking with Chad one day, and he said, Gary, he said, why don't you just put that on it? He said, you've already wrote the content, just put it online and,
Right.
sell it as an online training. And so I hired this company out of Las Vegas to help me put it together. And
Nice.
it's, I have it here. I can share that screen with you if you like.
So, who's the audience? Who's the person that you wrote this program for? Who's going to benefit most for getting involved with the Genius Investing Academy?
I initially thought, well, okay, it's going to be the house flipper, the guy or the buy and hold guy. Somebody who's going to go in and spend the money on the renovation. If you're going to renovate a house, like I said,
Right.
like right now, you're going to spend $45,000, and that's going to get you to an ARV of 150, but another 15,000 will get you to an ARV of 225. Holy crap.
Right.
If you don't know how to do that, let me help you. So that was my target.
Right.
But later I discovered, because I had one of my students who was a wholesaler, he thought, because one of the things that I say is, like, if you're a wholesale guy and you come up to a deal, and if the numbers don't work, what do you walk away?
They walk away.
Yeah,
I can tell you, as a real estate agent, broker, working the probate with investors all the time, they walk away. And what you're talking about is a way to raise the margins that make a deal that's marginal to when it becomes very profitable.
Yes, that's exactly right. So if you take the training, what you'll do is you'll get the software, and you can take what I call that nothing burger wholesale deal,
Right.
And turn that into a profitable wholesale play. Basically,
Nice.
You're squeezing blood from the turnip.
Nice.
And so the wholesale play is, hey, I've got this house. Here's the drawings. You can go get a permit. I've written the specs, the drawings. This value of this house with these drawings
Right.
is now 225,000. It's not 150.
Right, and all that's financeable. All that you can raise money for. So it's not for somebody who has money versus somebody who doesn't. It's really a different tactic to get to the goal of creating value and getting paid and improving your neighborhoods. It's just a different way to get there, and I think that's the thing that really intrigues me about it. And I see from where I sit, the successful investors I've worked with figure out how to add value and take a property that's otherwise marginal and make it a valuable opportunity. So somebody who wanted to participate or learn more about the program, where should they go? What's the best link for them to get information online about your program?
Okay. Well, there's two ways. You can go to geniusinvestingacademy.com, or you can go to GIAfreetraining.com, and that will take you to a video where we basically just share. It's me, and I'm just telling you about what I've found to be the problems, and here are the solutions. I'll tell you
Right.
what those solutions are. I don't really tell you how it's done. You really have to go through the course. But
Oh, and that was my goal here today, was a little bit to kind of flesh out a little bit of what you're talking about in a little more detail. So somebody goes to GIAfreetraining.com, they'll get a chance of what your proposition is as far as the program, the training, the resources, and then I think a really nice discount if they want to move forward, because I got in with our mutual friend Chad, who kind of got us the behind the scenes deal. So I appreciate, you making that available for us. So, well, great. So again, you can catch up with Gary at geniusinvestingacademy.com. If you're interested specifically in the program, there's really a program he has that's really involved step-by-step online that I've seen investors use and be successful. And I'll tell you, I saw Gary on a call talking about one of his projects, and I realized right away I needed to share this with investors I work with or people who want to invest in real estate, because it's a challenging business. And if you can add more margin, you can find a way to make it more profitable. That it's a competitive environment today. You'll be doing some things that other people don't by adding skills that other people don't have. So again, GIAfreetraining.com. There'll be a link below. Gary, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate what you do. Appreciate the way you do it, and look forward to working with you going forward.
Hey, thanks a lot, Bill. Appreciate it. And I enjoyed it. And I hope, I could help some other people. That's
Thanks.
really why I'm here.
Thanks so much.
Sure.